I'm a professional Minecraft builder, but I wasn't always. In fact, I was pretty bad at the beginning. Today, I'm going to be building my first ever base again. Okay, guys, I've had my morning cup of tea now, so I can show you around the original base. This is weird being back on this world because this has been a very long time since I've been here, but this is the base that we're going to be rebuilding today. But this is a very, very, very awful build. It's a bit of a turd, but I'm going to try and polish it. At the end of the day, a polished turd is still a turd though, so can't do anything about that. It's still a I do think that this is the build that started it all though, because if I didn't build this, I would have never become a builder, the builder I am today. And it was because when I built this, I showed it to my friend and he was like, yeah, that's pretty good, and I wanted to impress more people. So then I impress more people. So I went ahead and built more stuff, you know, one after the other, and my skills slowly but surely improved, which is surprising because usually I before this I wasn't really motivated to do anything like this. Genuinely, guys, if you don't feel like you can't accomplish anything, which is what I felt like before I started being a Minecraft builder, why I started doing this, don't worry, because there's something out there that you'll find that will just change your life, that you'll enjoy doing. And for me, it was Minecraft building. I really love doing this. It really it helps me drive to do something like really fun, and it's just really love. I just love this. That's all I can say. Anyway, before I ramble on any longer, let's get into the time lapse. This build was an interesting one because the original one was very under detailed, and the colors and just everything about it that I made originally, if I was going to go back and build that type of base again, I would change everything. Honestly, looking back, I didn't realize how bad it was. Especially the color scheme. I chose stone and spruce, basically the most basic one. I think I saw somebody else using it, but they use it a lot better. But with this, these are the only two colors I'm really allowed to use, because one thing I really don't want to change is the color. One thing I don't want to change is the shape. And I want to see if I can just, if I added my new the new detailing skills I've learnt, if I added them to my old base, would it make it better? Now, frankly, I don't think that's true. As I said in the beginning, we're polishing a turd here. It's really not a good base, and I'm probably not going to let you guys download it out of shame. But I'm going to see how far I can go with this. One thing you'll also notice is the textures on the outside. I'm trying a new texturing trick at the moment, and because I've got all the tough stuff now, which I'm really excited about, tough bricks and regular bricks, when you mix them together, you get a really cool texture. And I really love how it turns out. It creates like this cool, darker and lighter bricks effect. And it isn't a heavy texture like others I might do, where it's constantly shaded and everything's super intense. But this one's more of a texture you don't notice so much. And it just gives the build a little life. Although shading, like dark textures around edges and ambient occlusion and doing all that, that's actually those things are really good and probably better than this style of texturing, because it makes the build feel more alive and it helps, you know, add all the separate parts and build them together. Other parts one thing I did try to do is around the original base, there were lots of logs and columns around it, and I thought that looked pretty bad. I'm not too big of a fan of that anymore, although stripping it up and adding lots of lines into a build can be a massively useful thing, because it segments it, and instead of having one big flat wall, now you've got two flat walls, and they're a lot easier to combat that way. But with this one, they didn't look too great in the original one, but I did try to update them to modern wood logs by adding some stone stairs, and that adds depth to them. It makes the logs feel like they're sticking out, with signs on the top to round them out a bit, which is sort of like a texture, not a texturing trick, a little trick that I came up with on my own, and I thought it looked pretty nice. And another thing I did was adding walls to make these round pillars on the outside of stone, which look pretty nice too. I'm saying nice a lot. I don't know why I'm saying nice a lot. One thing I did with the original build, right, that I'm really happy with, and I really love how it turned out, at least in the original one and this one too, is a double set of what are they called? Walls. I guess I say walls to save on time, but these, you know, the things where they've got all the bumps on the top, I can't remember them in the moment, but I really like how I did 2 of them instead of 1, and I think that's a really cool trick. I remember at the time thinking I was so smart, I was like, oh, these are really cool, but that's probably something I wouldn't have thought of today, but it looks pretty nice when I look at it now. There's no practical use for it, like, at all, because there's no reason to have like 2 separate walls on top. This is when there's like tons of castles with it, and it's like the main thing you see, but you've got like these 2 sets of walls here, and it's I think it looked really nice in the build, especially in the second one, because I was able to pull off that effect to a better degree. And one thing I don't really get about the original build is why I did these 2 columns on the top. It would have made sense just to like keep it flat, maybe do a couple things on the top, but I guess I was being a bit silly at the time, so I tried to replicate them. But these ones, when I was building it here and when I was building it in the past, they're the things that I found the hardest to build. I really didn't know what to do here. I do mess around with it quite a bit, trying to make it look right, adding windows, taking windows away, looking at details, maybe this looks good, maybe that. You see them changing a lot, right? And even on the edges, I don't really figure out what to do. So they're probably the worst bit of the whole base thing. But in the end, I guess it didn't matter too much, because I'm living in the spirit of old me, where I don't really care too much about what the build looks like in the end, as long as I had fun building it. Anyway, this is the finished product. It looked pretty nice. I hope you enjoyed. I think it looked alright in the end. Definitely not as good as some of my most recent stuff. This wasn't for a video. I did that as like a project where I was testing. I think that looked really nice. I might show you that in a moment. But this is what the base looked like in the end. If we have like a before and after, I can show you what the difference was. I did change a couple things, but I mainly kept the idea of the original, which is like this cast with 2 bits on the top or whatever. And then I just changed up and like updated the designs to things that I would like to nowadays. I realized how bare the front actually was, so I did some of these like what are they called? Campfires. I'm just going to say campfires. I did some campfires on the front to light up the building at night and do things like that. And for these top areas, I really didn't know what to do with them. They were kind of like, I don't know, they're kind of just detailed randomly in the original one. I can actually remember building them and getting really bored and just thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do here, so I'm just going to put loads of details on it randomly. So that's what I did with this one here too, because I had the same experience. I did some pretty cool things here with maybe I used black concrete instead of it being better by using tinted glass behind here to create the effect of like archer slits where they shoot arrows out of. So this is pretty cool, and I thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you in another video. I guess I'm gonna fly over to this one very slowly now, so I can show you it. Yep, this is the other base. A lot better, isn't it? I really like this one, actually.